Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, salatu wassalamu ala rasulihil kareem, amma ba'd. We begin in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most merciful, the especially merciful. We thank Him subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the ability to gather together to remember Him, the most high, the creator of the heavens and the earth. The plan is to be short and sweet, inshallah, because I know as humans we have a short span of attention. And that's all human beings were like that. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us. So just to get down to the topic straight away, the topic is gratitude. Now it's a topic that requires great thought and attention because it's something that affects us daily. It's something which is a regular practice required from ourselves. And no doubt that the scholars have extensively spoken about it. There has been extensive mention, and the best place to find the example of it is only between the scholars. And just to put it into some kind of practicality, that when we open up our wardrobes and we have lots of clothes in there, packed, and we find the clothes are just falling out. We have t-shirts and jackets and jeans and this and that and 20, 30, 40, 50 pairs of shoes, right? And when we open our wardrobes, usually we have one phrase in common: I've just got nothing to wear. I don't know what on earth to wear, right? It's common. And then when we open our fridges, we have everything packed up, top to bottom, left to right. There's so much food in there, but there's nothing to eat, right? Let's go and get something decent to eat. Let's go to Chickadees, right? This is commonplace, right? Chickadees. Let's go Chickadees, right? Or let's get a piece of something decent. Or then we look at like a 17-year-old son that we have. MashaAllah, he's passed his driving test. His dad's bought him a new set of wheels. MashaAllah, right? He has everything. He has education. He has a family. He has everything under the sun. But life is empty. It just doesn't. Something doesn't feel right. Yeah, because apparently perfect is missing. This perfect life is missing. And this is what breeds depression. When we begin to think about, I have nothing, I want more. And this is what the society wants you to believe. This is what it's training you for, to be ungrateful. Because society wants you to be materialistic. It wants you to have the next big thing, right? If you look at me, I don't have my phone with me, but I have an S6, right? I don't live in a cave, but I keep getting pressured from society to buy an S7. I don't need to do that. My phone works perfectly fine, right? But society wants you to be materialistic. And there's no problem with wanting that. Buy as you please. But when we begin to have this addictive nature of, no, we need to have the latest thing, right? We need to fit in. Something is wrong there. Because now we are not focusing on what we have. We're not focusing on the blessings that we have. But we are focusing our energy and living our life on things that we don't have. My dear brothers and sisters, that is dangerous. Because being grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings good things in your life. It will make you productive. And a negative mind cannot be productive. It just can't. When you have worries and all kinds of negative thoughts in your mind, you can't focus. You can't do what you need to do properly. And a mind that's always looking for shortcomings and that kind of lifestyle will affect you spiritually, physically, emotionally, even financially. It's not a good thing. Now, looking at some of the scientific evidence of what we know, that through our thoughts and emotions, we emit some powerful signals that attract same frequency signals. And like we like to spend time with our friends and like-minded people, it's because we're transmitting this negative or positive energy. And when this energy is passing through, this is when great success, we're having a great time and we feel comfortable with those people. But when someone is ungrateful, that's a negative state of mind. That's a mind that is in despair. That's a mind that is transmitting negative energy. And that's not a good thing. So choose your thoughts carefully. You don't need to despair. You have what you have. Thank Allah and focus on joy and peace and harmony and ease and prosperity and all those, rosy, lovely words that come to your mind. Think about those. They're good. And we know that the more grateful we are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more He's going to increase us, the more He's going to give us from His favors and blessings. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Surah Ibrahim, He says, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ, that if you were to thank me, I will increase you and give you more. And the one who is going to give you is the one who has an unlimited amount of bounty. Right? He can give you and does give without measure. And we only need to open our eyes. Now, while science is telling us that these are natural laws, right? Natural laws. But the reality is, my dear brothers and sisters, these are actually open secrets. Right? Look into the Quran, the open secrets. It's all there. And another research that was carried out by Professor Robert Emmons and Professor Michael McCullough from two universities, the University of California and the University of Miami, they said that they derived three aspects of people who are grateful. They said that if you are grateful, those who have gratitude journals, they are people who have a better life, and they also are more optimistic. That doesn't mean everybody has to carry a journal, but the point being that you have some kind of acknowledgement that you are blessed. So you will live a good life and be more optimistic. And those people who are full of gratitude, they make better progress in life. They're not stuck in the shackles of, but I don't have a good car, but I don't have a good house. It could be bigger, I could have another room in there. No, they're grateful to Allah for what they have. And number three is that people who are grateful have higher levels of positive emotion. They have good life satisfaction. They have vitality, less stress, and therefore less depression. And this issue of depression is not a joke. Because, alhamdulillah, I have never been depressed, so I can't feel what a depressive state feels like. But if you speak to some of the social workers and speak to people who have been through it or deal with it, it's a really big disease that's affecting the ummah. We don't like to talk about it, that's true, but it's actually a big deal. Now, a point to notice that, alhamdulillah, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we stand up in prayer, and the first thing in our opening of prayer is Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. We are thanking Allah in Surah Al-Fatiha in the beginning. When we make so many other dua, we say Alhamdulillahi alladhi ahyana ba'da ma amatana when we wake up. All praise is due to Allah. We are thankful to Him who gave us life after we were dead, right? And this is the way to be, my dear brothers and sisters, to be grateful to Allah. Now, no doubt science has its place, anecdotal evidence has its place, there's no doubt about that. But nothing comes before the Quran and the Sunnah. There's no doubt that our first marja', our first focal point is the Quran and the Sunnah. And everything else, we can deal with that later. So let's look back in time where the Prophet ﷺ, he used to pray long tahajjud, long qiyam al-layl. And his skin used to crack and used to swell and so forth. And his wife Aisha, she asked the question that we would all ask. You're the Prophet of Allah, you're ma'soom, you don't commit sins, or from the wording of the hadith that your past and previous sins are forgiven. Why do you do that? And the Prophet ﷺ replied, remember, he's the messenger of Allah, he's not me and you. He said, أَفَلَا أَكُونَ عَبْدًا شَكُورًا, should I not be a grateful servant? So from this hadith, we learn that gratitude is shown through deeds. And also that thankfulness is shown by action. Brother Abid, if I'm taking too long, you can run this. Okay, so the Prophet ﷺ, he didn't ask us to worship Allah like that. He didn't put this kind of burden upon us, this kind of dhiq or dhank. This is not the way, But look at the Prophet ﷺ, his devotion and his thankfulness. Absolutely amazing, right? So, knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He doesn't need our worship. He's self-sufficient and He's worthy of all praise. So why do we contradict ourselves? We love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we praise Him, but our inner states don't reflect that. Now, looking at Prophet Dawood alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to his family, He said, "I'malu ala Dawood shukra." But work, O family of Dawood, in gratefulness. This is what Allah is saying to the family of Dawood alayhi salam. Now from this ayah, Ibn al-Qayyim, he said that we derive 3 branches of shukr, 3 branches of gratitude. Number 1 is knowledge, to know that all blessings are from Allah. The second is recognition or awareness, that okay, we know it, but do we firmly really believe it? You know, to actually know it. Like, yep, this blessing, that blessing is all from Allah. And the third is good deeds, because good deeds are a sign that a person is thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Further from that, Ibn al-Qayyim, he continues and says there are 5 pillars to gratefulness. So number 1 is submission to Allah. Number 2 is the love of Allah. Number 3, acknowledging His favors. Number 4, praising Him subhanahu wa ta'ala for His favors. So not only acknowledging it, but then, get up and do something about it, bro. Yeah. Praise Him for the favors. And number 5, refraining from what displeases Allah through His favors. That if Allah has given us wealth, then spend it in halal, don't spend it in haram. Don't get into this it's a lengthy topic, but spend in a way that's pleasing to Allah. Don't spend in ways that are displeasing to Allah. Now the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obviously we refer to Him as Allah, but He is also known by 99 names, as we are all aware. And one of His names is Al-Shakur, meaning the most appreciative. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ مَنْ أَحْسَنَ عَمَلًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not waste the efforts or the good actions of the Muslims. So in explaining the name Ash-Shakur, Imam al-Qurtubi, he explains, he accepts, meaning Allah accepts the little from the good deeds that we do. Because we are deficient, we are finite, Allah is infinite, so we are limited. So from the little that we do, Allah accepts it, but He repays with a great reward, because He can. So Allah will not waste the deeds, and He gives a better return. Me and you get the better deal, by the way. And Allah will even give to us even when we don't deserve it. Right? That's a point of gratitude. Because it's not only about gratitude, it's not only about our actions, it's not only about us. We have a chief enemy at hand called the Shaitan. He has made it his mission to make humans ungrateful. So this issue of thankfulness and gratefulness, it's been at debate for a long time, since the beginning of creation, in fact. What did the Shaitan have to say to Allah? He said, ثُمَّ لَأَتِيَنَّكُمْ مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ, that I will come to Bani Adam from before them, وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ, and from behind them, وَمِنْ أَيْمَانِهِمْ وَعَنْ شِمَالِهِمْ, so from the right and from the left, meaning that the Shaitan will grab us from all 4 corners. وَلَا تَجِدُ أَكْثَرُهُمْ شَاكِرِينَ, and you will find that most of them, they won't be thankful to you. This is the Shaitan. This is what he's trying to do. He's making us commit kufr in 2 ways. Because the word kufr, it doesn't only mean disbelief. There's actually a deeper meaning than that. Obviously, it has its technical meaning and conventional meaning. And of course, taking out of the fold of Islam, that's a meaning. But also to deny the favors of Allah is also another term. For example, Allah says, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ. If you remember me, make mention of me, I will make mention of you. وَاشْكُرُوا لِي, Allah is saying, and thank me. وَلَا تَكْفُرُونَ, and do not be of the deniers. Allah is not talking about being a kafir here, a disbeliever in terms of the kufr way, of not believing in Him. We're talking about denying His favors. Allah said, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُلُوا مِنْ طَيِّبَاتِ مَا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ. All you who believe, eat from the pure that Allah has blessed you with in terms of sustenance. Then He says, وَاشْكُرُوا لِي, and thank me. إِيَّاهُ تَعْبُدُونَ, if it is me who you worship. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will appreciate anything that me and you do. When we get to Jannah, Allah will say, Allah said, عَلِيهَمْ ثِيَابُ سُنْدُسٍ خُضْرٌ وَإِسْتَبْرَقٍ وَحُلُّوا أَسَاوِرَ مِنْ فِضَّةٍ وَسَقَاهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ شَرَابًا طَهُورًا. That the inhabitants of Jannah, they will wear green garments of fine silk. That sounds good, to be honest, right? Of brocade. And they will be adorned with bracelets of silver. That sounds great as well. And their Lord shall give them a purifying drink, right? We will get to drink the wine that we can't have over here, and it's pure and it's not intoxicating. إِنَّ هَذَا كَانَ لَكُمْ جَزَاءً. And indeed this is for you a reward for what you used to do. وَكَانَ سَعْيُكُمْ مَشْكُورًا. And Allah has appreciated your efforts. Now just to conclude here, and I won't be long inshallah, a statement by some of the scholars about gratitude and how they viewed it. Ibn al-Qayyim, and I love Ibn al-Qayyim, by the way. Ibn al-Qayyim is one of the greatest scholars to ever walk on this earth. His contribution is just phenomenal. You know, just to think that a man can have so much input in Islamic scholarship, in research and so forth. He said, gratitude may be in the heart. How? In submission and humility. Or it may be on the tongue, in praise and acknowledgement. Or it may be in the physical faculties by means of obedience and submission. Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, he said gratitude is of 2 degrees. One of them is obligatory, so you are doing the obligatory actions which are known, and the second one is staying away from haram, staying away from the munkar. Now, a couple of hadith I want to share with you, and inshallah we can finish there. These are practical hadith. Some are common, some are not. The Prophet ﷺ said, نِعْمَتَانِ مَغْبُونٌ فِيهِمَا كَثِيرٌ مِنَ النَّاسِ. There are 2 blessings that most people don't take advantage of, but therefore lose out. الصِّحَّةُ وَالْفَرَاغُ. Good health and free time. Be grateful to Allah and make use of it. Another hadith, and this hadith personally for me touches me in a very emotional way. You know why? Because we love the Messenger of Allah, right? We all love the Prophet ﷺ. And, you know, we want to be close to him, we want to be with him in Jannah, we want to emulate him and so forth. But here, the Prophet ﷺ is telling Mu'adh something. Mu'adh ibn Jabal,